Namaskaram. We told the story of the two sons of Satyavati from Shantanu. And we also said both of them died. The first in young years before marriage, fighting against a Gandharva of the same name. And then the second one, Vichitravirya, became an adult, and Bhishma got two wives for him by name Ambika and Ambalika, who were daughters of the king of Kashi, Benares. Amba, who was the eldest, excused herself, saying that she was engaged to King Salva, and Bhishma released her. We said we will come back to Amba's story later on at an appropriate time, but much before the war. But Amba, in her new form, has a lot of relevance to the Mahabharata story, especially to the war. So we will get back to that at appropriate time. And when both her sons died, Satyavati was in a fix. There was no progeny in the Kuru dynasty to take over the reins of the kingdom, of the empire. And we said that she requested Bhishma repeatedly, and Bhishma refused because he had given his word that he will not marry and he will not have any claim to the throne, so that a challenge from his children didn't arise. And Satyavati tried her best, but Bhishma stood firm. And then Bhishma told that there are precedents in the epics where wives of deceased people got children with the permission of the elders from Brahmins. Then Satyavati thought of her own son Vedavyasa, and she told Bhishma of her son, which was kept a secret until then. And Satyavati said that he promised to come to her aid whenever she was in distress. And Bhishma said, "Oh, that is the right way to go." By then he was a very eminent sage, well known throughout Bharat. And Bhishma encouraged Satyavati to take the help of Vedavyasa. And Satyavati did. And as soon as Satyavati thought about him, Vyasa got the message. That is how the sages are. Through their long years of penance, they get the power to know what happens anywhere else. And Vedavyasa came, bowed before his mother and asked her, "What can I do for you?" And Satyavati told him about the predicament that there are no children to take over the dynasty. And Vedavyasa agreed, but he said that the two ladies, the two wives, Ambika and Ambalika, they must be willing, and they should take 1 year's penance before they have the physical union, and they should gladly accept him. And Satyavati promised, yeah, there is no problem. And Vedavyasa disappeared. When the time came, Vedavyasa appeared, and Vedavyasa was taken to Ambika. Ambika was told about it earlier, and she had agreed. But when she looked at Vedavyasa in her chamber, Vedavyasa was outwardly ugly looking, because he didn't care about his appearance or about his hygiene. So he looked ugly. He probably was foul smelling, as Mahabharata says. And Ambika didn't run away, but she shut her eyes firm, so that she didn't have to see the ugly sage anymore. Vyasa noticed it, but he didn't say anything. He had a relationship with Ambika, and when he came out, Satyavati anxiously asked, "What happened? And can I expect the future king?" Then Vedavyasa said, "This lady, this daughter-in-law of yours will definitely conceive a son and deliver a very powerful boy who is as strong as 1,000 elephants and also very wise. But unfortunately, he will be blind." Why? Because Satyavati refused to look at him. And Satyavati was unhappy. She said, the future king, especially the emperor of the Kuru dynasty, cannot be blind. Nobody will accept a blind king. So requested Vedavyasa to come again for another child. And this time Satyavati asked Ambalika to accept Vedavyasa for a child. And Ambalika agreed. And when Vedavyasa came to meet Ambalika in her chamber, looking at Vedavyasa, Ambalika was so loathing or so terrified, whatever reason, she turned pale. Her color turned pale, as though from the disease called, there is a skin ailment where the color gets white. There is a name, I forget now. And they had a relationship, and Vedavyasa came out, and again Satyavati anxiously asked. And Vedavyasa said, yes, Ambalika will get a very handsome prince, a young boy, who will be capable in all respects. He will become a very skilled warrior. He will be very wise, handsome, but he will be discolored in skin. Pandu. In Sanskrit it is called Pandu. In English, what is it? I'll remember. And Satyavati was unhappy, but she said maybe he can be a king because he can see, he can hear. And that is how Satyavati got two grandchildren. The first blind, who was named Dhritarashtra, and the second Pandu, because of his skin color. And they grew up in the palace. Both of them, of course, Dhritarashtra, though blind, he was very wise. He learned all the ancient sciences and the Puranas, Dharmashastra. Dharmashastra are the sciences of ethics. Dharma, we said, is in, so to say, ethics, but actually it is the law for the religion. The right conduct, right thinking, right words, right living, that is in short. And there are lots of books on that written by eminent sages. Parashara, Vedavyasa's, there is Vedavyasa himself wrote one. Then so many other, Vasishtha, Agastya, so many, Manu, the famous Smriti, they are all Dharma Shastras. What else can I? Yeah. And when they were ready for marriage, Bhishma was ruling the kingdom on behalf of his cousin brothers, step brothers. And when they were ready for marriage, for Dhritarashtra, Bhishma heard that there is a princess in Gandhara, which is present-day Afghanistan, who was very beautiful to look at, very wise, and whose horoscope Bhishma came to know that as per the horoscope, she will have 100 sons. So that was a very good quality for a princess, because the Kuru dynasty didn't have young children. And so Bhishma sent soldiers and a representative with lots of valuable gifts in chariot to Gandhara Desha. We will continue with the story tomorrow with the marriage of Dhritarashtra and that of Pandu. Namaskaram.